And the prognosis is grim. It would leave 52 million people uninsured by 2026, give tax breaks to the rich, cut into Medicaid. Didn't Trump have different plans when he was running? Let's watch this.
Save Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security without cuts. Have to do it. Get rid of the fraud, get rid of the waste and abuse, but save it.
I guess he was joking about that. It took Republicans 7 years to come up with this crazy plan. 7 years, and they still don't have it yet.
It's a terrible plan.
So what do you
it's a terrible plan. From a conservative perspective, it's not a free market plan. It has all of the regulations that Obamacare has built into it. Those are still there. That's what drives up the cost. So this is a plan that basically says the government, the federal government, should have a role in subsidizing health care and in regulating health care. That is not a conservative plan. That is not a pro-free market plan. So conservatives, that's why you have Heritage Action, Freedom Works, American for Prosperity, the likes of Mark Levin. People who are supported by the conservative community are saying reject this plan, because when Republicans are up for re-election, they're going to be the ones that suffer. It's a modification of Obamacare that, in my opinion, takes Obamacare, which is already a bad structure, and makes it worse. Costs will go up under this plan.
It will go up. About the CBO, the Congressional Budget Office, which thank you for spelling that out for everybody. I think we have to keep in mind, too, that yes, these are estimates, they're hypotheticals, they're projections, and they were wrong about Obamacare. In 2010, they said that they projected 21 million would have insurance via the marketplace, but only 12 million did. So keep in mind, yes, this is independent, but these are estimates and hypotheticals.
It is nonpartisan, but the reason that the numbers were wrong and off is because insurance companies hiked up the premiums. And I don't think President Obama and his team realized that they would do that. But I think that the positive for some Republicans is this $300 billion change in what will be the deficit. Isn't that accurate?
That's actually a very small number considering what a wide program is.
$300 billion.
But you shouldn't be, if you're a conservative or a libertarian, you shouldn't be sacrificing freedom for those things. The fact that they're removing the mandate and they're telling people there's a 30% penalty if you don't
get sick and not have the money to pay for it?
They objected to a mandate. They said the federal government should not be telling people that they absolutely have to have health insurance. Now all of a sudden they take the mandate out, but they put this 30% penalty for those who don't have
Wait a second.
But you need the mandate. The reason that you need the mandate...
You need the mandate for Obamacare.
No, but you need the mandate because if people choose not to have medical care, the problem is then low-income people and elderly people, it'll be carried on their backs, and they're going to have to pay more money.
But if you have a free market system that doesn't depend on government intervention like this, you don't need the mandate. You do need the mandate to preserve a government-regulated system, because that's how you pay for it.
When you get car insurance, everybody who has a car has to have car insurance.
Yeah.
That is a mandate.
That's different, though, because
so if you crash your car,
I'll tell you why that's different.
The insurance company has to pay because the bad driver got into an accident.
Exactly.
Okay? The other thing about this that I don't like, that I don't get, is instead of a subsidy, which people are getting through Medicaid, you know, they help you out. They'll give you several thousand to pay the thing, right? They're giving you what they call a tax credit. Now, that doesn't make any sense to me. So if I'm having a stroke today, I have to wait till the end of the year to pay for the stroke. No, that does not work.
And the tax credit does not go to the elderly. The tax credit does not go to...
The tax credit goes to the young.
And it also goes to the 2% of people that are making more money than anyone else.
It's more money for the rich.
There are players that are missing right now. When you look at hospitals and what people are charged, and insurance companies and what they're allowed to charge, I feel like a lot of the racket is buried in there. Because when you go to the hospital and you see the things you're charged for, when I had the baby, I remember there were charges that I could never have stayed on top of the billing because there were so many things and outrageous numbers.
That's the insurance company.
But isn't that the hospital charging more to get the insurance company to cover the higher amount they cover?
That's something different, though.
No, but this is where some money's buried.
Well, they should fix it all, but to do it the way they're going to do it is going to throw so many people out on the street.
You talk about elderly, too, but I think right now this system, in many cases, it's broken. You look at small businesses that are struggling and families that are struggling. I mean, I have family members. One's a physician. He's like, yeah, people are insured, but they can't afford to come see me because the deductibles are so high. Another family member who's a small business owner, he wants to grow his business, but if he does over 50 people, then he's required to give them health care, whereas before the Affordable Health Care Act, he was able to provide all of his employees, all the employees' family members with really good health care. And now, because of the... because the costs were much lower, so they had superior
company again, and the Affordable Care Act in most cases, and I know I'm going to get a ton of tweets about this, in most cases you can buy a plan for under $100 a month.
Tell that
A lot of
to
people's
somebody.
premiums went up.
But Sonny,
Those are the numbers.
But those are the numbers. But you have to look at the stories and the faces and the people
that's
that this is
anecdotal.
affecting.
But that's anecdotal.
No, it's not anecdotal. These are personal stories.
They're personal stories, but Paula, but you can point to people certainly that are affected negatively, but the vast majority of people are now covered.
They're covered, but they can't see the doctor because the deductibles are so high. They can't go to the doctor because the deductibles are higher
under TrumpCare.
Well, this is a bad plan, but they also, remember, a lot of people lost their doctors. A lot of people lost their plan. A lot of people's quality of care has gone down. So it's the cost.
But they have insurance. But they have health insurance.
What good is insurance if it costs you a fortune?
Is it?
I don't know, but the fact remains that 24 million people will be out on the street. That's a fact.
That number, sorry, that
projected number from the
A
CBO.
projected number, yeah.
But just to clarify that, because I saw something the other day, that number also brings in the people that are not going to opt in. So it's not that they got their health care cut. They're just not going to be penalized for...
It includes a lot of people that chose not to have health care. There were a lot of people that didn't want insurance.
To have health care.
Can I just, to your point about car insurance, car insurance exists because they don't want you to be a liability to someone else. And the key difference is you don't have to have a car. You do have to have a body. And if the federal government tells you that by virtue of existing, you have to have health insurance, that is overreach. That is not constitutional.
You don't see it as a human right to have health insurance. The Canadians see it that way. The Danes see it that way. Germans see it that way. The French see it that way.
When you do not have health insurance, guess what? We do pay because they get their health insurance by going to the emergency room which is extremely expensive. And who pays for it?
We do.
The taxpayers pay for it.
People
need health
the
insurance.
answer to that is not more government, it is less government.
Really? So we're going to depend on the insurance companies to be good corporate citizens.
I would rely on
charge us a lot of money. Good luck.
Those businesses have to stay open. That's why the free market works, because if you are a company or a business, you have to satisfy your customer. You have to make money. You only make money if you lower costs.
State lines thing, Jed, though? If you said insurance companies could cross state lines, the competition would increase.
Portability of insurance. People should be able to take their insurance from job to job. Let the free market do its job without government intervention. I promise you it will work.
Okay, we got to go. We'll be right back.